like you said, you used the word implosion, and I can
Yeah.
relate to that. I've had multiple times in my life, even kind of through now, where things are imploding and falling apart. And on one level, it seems like, oh no, this is not good. And even people around you can kind of go like, hey, what's going on? This is not good. But sometimes it's this blessing in disguise, or the thing that needs to fall apart so you can kind of move into a new space and new energy.
Yes.
Can you talk more about that if you're comfortable with it? Just kind of what you were going
Yeah,
through at that
look,
time?
I'm really comfortable with it. I think the thing that is challenging is that when you don't have any way to describe it, because no one, so, very often people just don't talk about these kinds of things. And so you don't have a reference point. And I was 19 when this big implosion happened to me. And I
Hmm.
just didn't have any way to explain it to people. No one really
Right.
understood what I was talking about. It was a very random thing for a 19-year-old to say, well, words don't work anymore. We have to figure this out. We have to find a better language. It's kind of
Right.
esoteric and strange. And so I really found that the best way for me was to pick myself up and start walking and traveling and wandering. And it's
Hmm.
a very old story that we go on a journey. And for me, that was literally a journey. So the implosion for me was really devastating. It was a whole of my being. It was because I felt like everything that I thought I knew was just completely gone. And you really do, you're left with nothing. And that can, at any stage of life, that can be very confronting and very hard. And the thing that I really tried to focus on was being with myself through the journey. So
Hmm.
probably no one else is getting it. Everyone else has got other stuff going on in their lives, by the way. Like, they're not necessarily paying that much attention. And you kind of have to, I think, build a little bit of resilience. I found that if I could just be with myself, I could be okay. So I learned at that age to be independent and to be okay with the fact that maybe it would be a little bit lonely. But
Hmm.
if I was going after something that I really believed in, then that was okay. So
Hmm.
going and living in New Zealand, in Edinburgh, and living by myself and doing the journey by myself felt like a bit of a rite of passage. I felt like if I could do this by myself, then everyone else could come along later and I would be sorted. And I
Hmm.
kind of feel like that's kind of kept me in good stead throughout my life, because I think if you do go through these implosions, you do come out on the other side. And there is a pathway that will emerge after the implosion when you sit with it and you let it settle. There is a pathway, but that also can be daunting, and it's not necessarily a pathway that anyone else can share or show you or tell you this is what it looks like, this is how you will feel, this is where it will take you. No one else will know that. You just have to be on the journey. So I think I felt equipped after that to be okay with wherever the journey was going to take me.
Yeah, that's great. You mentioned the word intuition. It sounds like was it back with initially with the metal work? You had some sort of intuition with that particular art. Is that the first time? Is that accurate? And then, is that the first
Yeah.
time you like tuned into it and just followed it, or has it happened before?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a really great question. I remember the first time it really, really hit home, and it was a very intuitive sense. So when I was studying journalism, I was a good student. I was raised to be a good student. That's kind of the thing that gets embedded with us. I like to do the right thing. And so I was editor of my university newspaper. And I remember we were in the middle of the production one weekend. And this was back in the olden days where, a newspaper production was literally like a newspaper, old school. Um, and and I remember I was in the middle of the floor. We had everyone in the room. We were all laying out different articles, and I sat there and I felt this sense that this is the time to go. This is the time to pick myself up, to leave, to move on, because this wasn't for me. And I
Hmm.
did. I think that weekend I went through the process of literally dropping out of that first university degree. And I knew that that was going to be challenging and troubling for my parents who were paying for the degree at the time and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the intuition was very strong and it was very clear and it was very simple. It was a simple feeling of I have to literally put everything down. I have to stop what I'm doing and I have to get up and I have to walk out of this room and I have to take responsibility and take the next step towards the life that I really want, because I wanted to be living the life that I chose, not the life that I just kind of ended up with. Um,
Right.
so that was that very first intentional step. And then I think I started being able to tune into it more, because I think it does land in your body. And for me, I started having these really clear senses of this is a moment, this is an important moment. And it was always an intuitive feeling of just everything becoming kind of still and quiet, and then a feeling towards something. So for me, it's always been just a feeling that I should be moving into some direction. So nothing more than a feeling of moving. This is the right thing to move into. It wasn't a sense of go directly here, take this train and do this journey.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just a general sense of this is the right thing to do.
Right. It would be
And
it would be nice sometimes if it was exact, detailed
yeah,
instructions. I mean,
yeah,
step by step. Here's what you do.
that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.